My child, pause for just a moment. Yes, I'm speaking to you, the one hearing these words right now. Set aside whatever has your attention and focus on me for these next few moments, because what I'm about to place on your heart is not ordinary. It is not a coincidence. It is not an accident, and it is not something you should dismiss. I am reaching out to you at this very moment because something deeply significant is drawing near to your life. This is not a message to casually pass by only half here. It is my voice calling to you once again, perhaps before a life-changing season begins to unfold. I know how full your days have been. I know the pressure you have carried, the responsibilities that have demanded your attention, and the countless distractions that have pulled your focus away. But right now, I am asking you to quiet the noise within, settle your heart, and listen closely. Over the next 72 hours, events are already being set into motion that concern your future. While you have gone about your daily life, I have been working behind the scenes in ways you could not see, carefully arranging what is about to come. Long before you recognized any sign of it, I was preparing this very moment. Yet if you are going to recognize what I have placed before you and walk confidently into it, you must hear me with an open and willing heart today. Do not brush aside this moment or treat it as something insignificant, because it carries a sense of purpose and urgency that deserves your full attention. My precious child, remember that I never interrupt without a reason. Whenever I speak with this kind of urgency, it is because the timing matters. The days ahead are unlike ordinary days. They hold choices that will require wisdom, unexpected meetings that carry purpose, and moments of understanding that can redirect the course of your journey. I already know the plans I prepared for your life, just as I see every obstacle standing in your path. I also see the opportunities that are about to appear before you, opportunities connected to prayers you have faithfully lifted to me for a long time. But before those doors begin to open, I must first prepare your heart, because if your mind is clouded by distraction, your spirit weighed down by fear, or your faith weakened by doubt, you may fail to recognize my hand when I begin to move. That is why I am speaking to you now. That is why I am asking you to remain fully present and listen with careful attention. Something important is drawing near, and you must stay spiritually alert so you will recognize it when it comes. There was a reason I told you to stay spiritually awake, my child, because this is not the first time I have reached out to your heart. More than once, you have felt a quiet prompting within, a gentle invitation to slow down, think more deeply, or choose a different direction. Along your journey, I place small reminders before you, unexpected moments, conversations that lingered in your mind, and thoughts that stirred something you could not easily explain. Deep inside, there were times when you sensed I was trying to get your attention, yet life kept moving so quickly that those moments slipped away before you could fully understand them. At times you questioned whether those impressions truly came from me. Other times you convinced yourself they were nothing more than coincidence. And there were days when exhaustion, endless responsibilities, and the weight you carried left you with little strength to notice what I was doing around you. I do not remind you of these things to bring condemnation or fill your heart with regret. I know every burden you have been carrying, and I understand the struggles that have worn you down. I see how loud the world has become and how easily fear, pressure, constant demands, and endless distractions can drown out the quiet way I often speak. But now the time has come for those gentle whispers to become a message you cannot mistake. My beloved child, I have been patient because my love for you has never run out. I have watched you walk through seasons of uncertainty, wondering which path was right. I have been with you during the nights when loneliness settled over your heart, and you questioned whether anyone truly understood what you were feeling. I have seen every disappointment that left you searching for answers when life unfolded differently than you expected. Through every unanswered question, every delay, and every season that tested your faith, I never left your side. Even when you could not recognize my presence, I was still leading you, protecting you, and working on your behalf. There were moments when you overlooked the signs I placed before you, not because you deliberately turned away from me, but because you had not yet learned to recognize what they meant. That season is now coming to its close. The time for uncertainty is giving way to a season of clear direction, and I need you to receive every word I am placing before you today without turning your heart away. Listen with your full attention, my child. Do not allow these words to pass by without truly receiving them, because if you choose to ignore what I am saying or leave before you understand what I am revealing, I am telling you, you could overlook the breakthrough that has already been set aside for you. I am not speaking these words to fill you with fear. I am speaking to awaken your spirit. Even now, I have been putting circumstances into place beyond what your eyes can see. Opportunities have quietly been positioned along your path, and the answers to prayers you believe had gone unheard are much closer than you imagine. When those answers begin to unfold, you must be prepared to recognize them for what they are. So many people miss the very blessings they have prayed for because doubt clouds their vision or because they convince themselves that nothing remarkable could ever happen in their lives. I do not want that to be your story. That is why I am calling your attention today. So when the appointed moment arrives, you will recognize my hand at work and have the courage to step forward in faith. My child, never believe that you found this message by chance. This moment did not happen because of luck or coincidence. Long before you entered this world, I already knew this day would come. Before your first breath, before your first step, before you ever learned to call upon my name, I already saw the journey that lay ahead of you. I knew every challenge that would test your strength, every question that would weigh on your heart, and every quiet prayer you would whisper when no one else was listening. Because I knew all of these things, I also prepared moments like this, moments when I would speak directly to your heart and gently lead you back toward the path I designed for your life. There is nothing random about this encounter. It is part of a purpose that reaches far beyond what you can presently understand. I arranged this moment so that when you arrived at this place in your journey, you would hear my voice and remember that you have never been walking alone. If your heart is believing for healing and restoration, let that faith become personal by commenting, "Lord, heal my broken places." Let those words be a declaration that you are placing your hope in me. Perhaps you are wondering why this message carries such a deep sense of urgency. Maybe you feel curious, uncertain, or even hesitant about everything you are hearing. Those feelings are understandable, my child. Whenever an important season is about to begin, the heart often carries both expectation and uncertainty at the same time. But I want you to understand this with complete clarity. The next 3 days will play a significant role in shaping the direction your life is about to take, in ways you cannot yet fully understand. The next 72 hours will carry moments that have the potential to shape your future. During this time, events will begin to unfold, meaningful conversations will take place, and unexpected opportunities may appear before you, each one calling for discernment, faith, and a willing heart. Some of these moments may seem ordinary on the surface, but do not be quick to dismiss them. What appears small today may hold a purpose far greater than you can presently see. That is why I am preparing your heart before these things arrive. If you remain attentive, listen for my voice, and stay open to my leading, you will begin to recognize the path I have been carefully placing before you all along. My precious child, I invite you to quiet every distraction surrounding you and give your full attention to what I am speaking into your heart. Lay aside the endless worries that compete for your thoughts. Release the doubts that whisper this moment carries no significance. Instead, receive these words with an open spirit and allow them to take root deep within you. Throughout the next 3 days, be mindful of what unfolds around you. Pay attention to the moments that awaken something within your spirit. Listen closely when unexpected conversations arise, and do not overlook opportunities that seem to appear at just the right time. Bring everything before me in prayer, and trust the peace I place in your heart to guide your next step. I will not leave you to figure this out alone. I will lead you one step at a time, revealing each piece of direction precisely when you need it, never too early and never too late. Above everything else, remember this truth. My child, you have never been forgotten. You are not abandoned, and you are not wandering through life without purpose. I have been directing your steps since the very beginning, and I will continue to lead you as you move into the season waiting ahead of you. These coming 72 hours hold possibilities greater than you can currently imagine. Do not face them with anxiety or hesitation. Walk into them with confidence, faith, and the assurance that the one who has faithfully watched over you every day of your life is still watching over you now. So remain with me a little longer. Do not turn away from these words before they have settled into your heart. Listen not only with your mind but with your spirit, because what I am revealing today may become the very key that opens the door to the next season of your life. The appointed time is nearer than you realize, and soon the direction I prepared for you will become clearer than ever before. My child, listen with careful attention, because this is no ordinary moment. The words reaching your heart today were not placed before you by accident or by chance. I brought these words before you with intention, placing them in your path at this exact moment for a reason. You may believe you found this message while casually scrolling, passing a few quiet minutes, or simply looking for something to occupy your attention. But I want you to know the truth. This meeting was never left to chance. Long before today arrived, I had already prepared this moment for you. Before your eyes ever rested on these words, before your thoughts even recognized this message, I had already arranged for our paths to meet here. I knew the exact day you would listen, the precise hour you would arrive, and the condition of your heart when these words reached you. Nothing about this encounter happened by accident. It is a purposeful interruption, lovingly placed in your life because I care too deeply about you to let you continue without hearing what I have been waiting to tell you. My precious child, I see how demanding your life has become. I know how every day seems filled with responsibilities, commitments, and constant pressure that rarely give you a chance to rest. There are times when you feel as though you are doing everything you can just to keep pace with the demands around you, leaving little room to breathe, much less to become still enough to hear the quiet voice speaking within your spirit. The world around you never stops making noise. It pulls at your attention from every direction through work, relationships, expectations, concerns about tomorrow, and memories from yesterday that still weigh on your heart. All of these voices compete for your focus until another day comes to an end, and you are left still searching for the peace your soul longs to find. I have watched you carry these burdens for far longer than you realize. I have seen the weight resting upon your shoulders and the thoughts that have quietly exhausted your heart. I have witnessed the disappointment that comes when life unfolds differently than you expected, and I understand how easily those struggles can make it difficult for you to recognize my voice. But I want you to remember something, my child. Even during your busiest days and your most confusing seasons, I have never been silent. I have continued speaking to you in gentle and faithful ways. There were moments when my voice came as a quiet impression deep within your heart. Perhaps it arrived as an unexpected thought encouraging you to slow your pace and pause and look at your situation from a different perspective before moving forward. Perhaps it came as an unexplainable peace leading you away from one direction and gently drawing you toward another. At other times, I spoke through the words of someone you never expected, through a conversation or message that reached far deeper than it appeared on the surface. I have always found ways to speak into your life, most often with quiet patience and gentle love, because that is how I choose to guide those I cherish. I do not force myself upon you or demand your attention. Instead, I extend an invitation, honoring the freedom I have given you to choose your path. Even so, there were seasons when those quiet invitations passed by unnoticed. It was never because you deliberately refused to listen, but because the demands of life had become so overwhelming that they drowned out the stillness where my voice could be heard. Your thoughts were consumed with solving one problem after another, fulfilling responsibilities, and simply making it through difficult days. When a heart is weighed down by fear, disappointment, or exhaustion, it becomes much harder to recognize the gentle ways I often communicate. I understand that completely, my child. I know how fragile the human heart can feel when it carries more than it was meant to bear. That is why I never responded with condemnation when those moments slipped past you unnoticed. Instead, I remained beside you, continuing to guide you with patience, waiting for the time when your heart would once again become quiet enough to hear me more clearly. If these messages have encouraged your faith and reminded you of my presence, consider supporting this channel through Super Thanks so that these words can continue reaching others who are searching for hope. Now listen carefully, because what I am saying to you today is different. This is not another quiet impression that can easily be overlooked. This is a clear and urgent call, spoken not out of anger, but out of love, because something significant is drawing near in your life. Whenever an important turning point approaches, I make my direction clearer so my children will recognize the path I prepared and will not miss what I am placing before them. The days ahead carry purpose, and the choices made within them will matter more than you realize. I cannot remain silent when you are standing so close to a moment that could influence the next season of your journey. That is why your day has been interrupted. That is why these words have found you at this very moment. My child, this is not the first time I have reached out to your heart. I have been reaching out to you for much longer than you realize. There were earlier seasons when you felt something quietly moving within your spirit, moments when an inner prompting seemed to rise from a place deeper than your own thoughts. You may remember occasions when you suddenly felt the need to slow down, think more carefully, or take a different direction than the one you had planned. Perhaps there were times when you were ready to make a decision, yet something inside you urged you to pause as if a gentle voice was asking you to look again before moving forward. Those feelings were never meaningless or accidental. They were my loving attempts to lead you away from unnecessary hurt and toward the path I had already prepared for you. There were times when you listened, and as you followed that quiet leading, a deep peace settled over your heart, confirming that you were walking in the right direction. At other times, you set those impressions aside because they did not seem logical or easy to explain. You may have assumed they were only your imagination or the result of thinking too much. Yet even when those moments passed without being recognized for what they were, I never stepped away from you. I remained faithfully at your side, watching over your life, protecting you from dangers you never noticed, and arranging circumstances beyond what your eyes could see. I want you to understand something about the way I speak to those I love. My voice is rarely found in confusion, noise, or endless distractions. More often, it comes quietly, like a gentle whisper that reaches the heart. It may arrive in a moment of stillness, through sudden clarity that settles over your mind, or through a peace that gently leads you toward wisdom instead of fear. I often choose these quiet ways because true discernment grows in hearts that are willing to listen with patience and attention. But there are also seasons when that gentle whisper becomes a clear and unmistakable call. When a person's life is approaching a significant turning point, when important decisions are drawing near and the choices ahead will influence the future in lasting ways, I speak with greater urgency so my children will not overlook the direction I am giving them. That is the season you are entering now. This message was never meant to become just another passing thought in your day. It was placed before you to awaken your spirit, capture your attention, and remind you that I am still leading your steps even when you cannot yet see the whole picture. My precious child, never forget this truth, especially when life becomes heavy. In my eyes, your life has always carried great value. You were never created by accident, nor were you ever meant to exist without purpose. Long before your first breath filled your lungs, before anyone on earth spoke your name, I already knew you completely. I knew your voice before you ever spoke. I knew the shape of your heart, the questions that would one day fill your mind, and the dreams I would place within your spirit. Even before the foundations of the world were established, you were already known to me. Your life has always been part of a purpose far greater than the human mind can fully comprehend. You are chosen, my child, not because you have never failed, not because you have lived without weakness or struggle, but because I placed my loving purpose upon your life from the very beginning. I placed a unique purpose within you from the very beginning. I created you intentionally, equipping you with gifts, allowing you to walk through experiences, and preparing a journey that belongs to you alone. There are lessons only you are meant to learn, lives only you can touch in the way I designed, and moments prepared specifically for you that no one else can fulfill in your place. That is why I have never stopped leading you, even during the seasons when you felt lost or uncertain about where your life were headed. My purpose for you has never disappeared, nor has it been erased by your mistakes, your disappointments, or the confusion you have experienced along the way. What you are experiencing right now is part of that greater purpose. This moment is a loving reminder that you are fully seen, deeply known, and continually guided by me. I am gently drawing your attention away from the endless distractions of everyday life, and back toward the path that has always existed beneath them. I know there are questions in your heart about what the future holds, and I understand why uncertainty can feel overwhelming. Your human perspective allows you to see only a small part of the road ahead, but I see every step of your journey from its very beginning to the future that is still waiting to unfold. Because I already know what lies ahead, I cannot allow you to continue without first speaking these words into your heart. You are approaching a season where your awareness, your trust, and your faith will matter far more than you realize. The decisions you make, the opportunities you choose to embrace, and the way you respond to what is about to unfold will help shape the next chapter of your life. That is why I have interrupted the rhythm of your day. Do not see this moment as an inconvenience. Receive it as an invitation to become still, to listen carefully, and to remember that your life is not being directed by coincidence or chance. I am still speaking to you. I am still leading your steps. Even now, in this very moment, I am drawing your heart closer to mine so you will be prepared for what is soon to come. My precious child, come near and listen carefully to what I want to place within your heart. There is something I need to reveal with both truth and compassion because my love has been reaching toward you for much longer than you know. You may be asking yourself why my voice carries such urgency today, Why this moment feels so different from the quiet invitations you have experienced before. The answer is not found in anger, nor does it come from rejection. It comes from love, a love that has remained patient through every season, a love that has watched every step of your journey, and a love that refuses to stop pursuing you. I have reached out to you many times before today. I have quietly spoken to your heart, placed gentle reminders along your path, and awakened thoughts within your spirit that were meant to draw you closer to the purpose and future I lovingly prepared for you from the very beginning. Even so, I have also seen many of those moments slip quietly by. It was never because you deliberately chose to turn away from me. More often, the weight of everything you were carrying made it difficult to recognize my voice. My child, I know every burden resting on your heart. I see the responsibilities that fill your days and the concerns that follow you long after the day has ended. There have been seasons when it felt as though your only goal was to make it through one more day, pressing on despite exhaustion, disappointment, and questions that seem to have no answers. When your heart becomes weighed down in that way, it is naturally harder to slow down and hear the gentle guidance I continue to offer. I understand your weakness, and I have never condemned you for the times when you were simply too tired to listen or when the constant noise around you drowned out the quiet whisper of my spirit. I have watched you keep moving even when your strength felt almost gone, and through every step, I remained faithfully beside you, never leaving your side. There were many times when I sought to direct your path with tenderness. I placed thoughts within your heart that encouraged you to pause and reconsider certain decisions. I gently stirred your spirit to step away from situations that would have brought unnecessary pain. At times I opened doors before you, and at other times I lovingly closed them, guiding your life towards something far better than you could see for yourself. There were moments when you recognized my leading and followed it with trust, and there were other times when you continued on without realizing I had been inviting you toward a different direction. Yet none of that caused me to give up on you, my beloved child. It never changed my love for you, and it never canceled the purpose I place upon your life. Instead, it only drew my heart even closer to yours. If you are ready to surrender every fear you have been carrying, let your faith become a declaration by commenting, Jesus, take my fears, and place every worry into my hands. But there's another truth I need you to understand, a truth that can be difficult to recognize while you are living through the demands and struggles of everyday life. As I have been faithfully leading you toward the purpose I created for you, another influence has been quietly working to pull your attention away from that path. The enemy has watched your journey, not because you are insignificant, but because your life carries a purpose that threatens the kingdom of darkness. He knows that when you fully embrace the calling I have prepared for you, your life will become a source of hope, strength, and light for those around you. That is why he has worked to distract your focus, cloud your thinking, and weigh your heart down with endless worries, keeping your attention fixed on merely surviving instead of stepping into the destiny I have prepared. His strategy is rarely obvious in the beginning. More often, he works through subtle distractions. He plants doubts that cause you to question your value. He allows circumstances to consume your energy, filling your days with urgent problems that quietly pull you away from what truly matters. He whispers lies that try to convince you your past failures have already destroyed the future I designed for you. At times, he wants you to believe you are too damaged, that too much time has passed, or that you have wandered too far from my purpose to ever be fulfilled in your life. Unworthy of being used for anything that truly matters. Those thoughts are not the truth. They are carefully crafted deceptions meant to drown out my voice and keep you from embracing the purpose I placed within you long before you understood it yourself. So hear me clearly, my child, and let these words settle deep within your heart. No lie has greater power than my love for you. No failure you have experienced has caught me by surprise. No struggle, no setback, and no season of weakness has erased the purpose I established for your life before you were ever born. I knew every chapter of your story before you lived a single day of it. I knew the choices you would make, the moments when your faith would feel strong, and the seasons when you would feel uncertain, weary, or lost. Knowing all of that, I still chose you. I still called you. I still place my purpose within your life because my plans have never depended on your ability to be perfect. They have always rested upon my grace and my unfailing love. Perhaps there are moments from your past that still fill your heart with regret. You may remember decisions you wish you had never made, words you long to take back, or opportunities you believe slipped away forever. Sometimes your mind tries to convince you that if only you had chosen differently, everything about your life would be better today. But listen carefully. My beloved child, my plans are not so fragile that they can be destroyed by human failure. I am the God who restores what seems beyond repair. I gather the broken pieces of a life and shape them into something filled with beauty and purpose. Even the moments that now bring you sorrow have not been wasted in my hands. I can transform them into wisdom, use them to deepen your character, and allow them to strengthen your faith in ways you cannot yet fully see. Nothing you have ever done has placed you beyond my love, and nothing has canceled the calling I place within you. I do not define you by the failures behind you. I see the heart that still longs for what is true, the spirit that continues searching for meaning, and the quiet hope that refuses to disappear despite everything you have endured. That hope is not there by accident. It is evidence of the purpose I planted deep within your soul, reminding you that your story is still being written and that I am not finished with you. My precious child, I know there are times when you question whether you are worthy of being chosen. You compare yourself with others and wonder if they are stronger, wiser, or somehow more deserving than you. You may even ask why I continue calling your name when you still feel uncertain about yourself. But understand this truth. I do not choose people according to the world's standards. I am not searching for flawless lives or perfect performances. I look for hearts that are willing to listen, even when they feel weak. I delight in souls that continue seeking truth, even after disappointment has tested their faith. The very fact that you are still here, still searching, and still listening is evidence that my spirit continues to work within you. The reason I am reaching out once again, what may feel like one final urgent invitation, is not because you have disappointed me. It is because you are standing near a moment that carries great significance for your future, and I want your heart to be prepared. I do not want the same distractions that once clouded your vision to keep you from recognizing the work I am about to do in your life. The enemy wants nothing more than for you to remain trapped in discouragement, constantly looking back at your failures and believing that your future can never be different from your past. But I am calling you to lift your gaze above those lies and fix your eyes on what I have already prepared before you. You are loved today with the very same love that surrounded you from the moment your life began. That love has never grown weaker, never diminished, and never been taken away. When you stumbled, I remained with you. When you questioned your own worth, my faithfulness never changed. When you believed you were walking through life by yourself, I was still beside you, even though you could not always recognize my presence. My love is not based on your performance, nor does it disappear when you fall short. It is steady, patient, and far stronger than every mistake you continue to remember. So release the guilt that has weighed down your heart for far too long. Let go of the belief that you must somehow earn my guidance or prove yourself worthy of my love before I will lead you again. You already belong to me. You have always been known by me, and you have always been deeply loved. Because of that love, I am reaching toward you once again, inviting you to listen with an open heart and prepare yourself for the season that is drawing near. My precious child, draw close and hear the gentleness in my voice, because there is something I want you to truly understand, something you may have needed to hear for a very long time. I have seen every hidden pain you carried when no one else noticed. I watched the silent battles you concealed behind a smile that convinced everyone you were doing fine. There were days when others looked at your life and believed everything was steady and secure. Yet beneath the surface, your heart was fighting storms no one else could see. You learned how to keep going when your spirit was tired. You found ways to speak calmly while your mind wrestled with fears, questions, and uncertainty. You carried heavy burdens in silence because you did not want to place the weight of your struggles on anyone else's shoulders. But even when no one around you recognized your pain, I saw every part of it. I was with you during those quiet nights after the noise of the day had faded, when silence seemed to magnify every burden hidden within your heart. I watched as your thoughts drifted back to disappointments that still hurt, to conversations that left deep wounds inside your spirit, and to memories that refused to let go. There were nights when tears filled your eyes while the rest of the world rested peacefully, and you wondered if anyone truly understood the depth of what you were carrying. Although you felt completely alone in those moments, I was nearer than you ever realized. Every tear that rolled down your face was precious in my sight. Every silent cry your heart released was fully heard by me. Not one moment of your suffering escaped my attention. My beloved child, I also remember the times you placed your trust in people who promised they would never leave your side, only to discover that their actions wounded you more deeply than their words ever could. You believed what they told you. You opened your heart without holding back and welcomed them into your life. But when betrayal found its way into that relationship, It left behind a wound that reached deep into your soul, a wound that was far more painful than anyone else could truly understand. Hard for you to explain, even to yourself. You found yourself asking why people could change so completely, why faithfulness sometimes gave way to distance, and why the kindness you freely gave was not always returned with the same honesty and care. Those betrayals reached deep into your heart because you never expected them. You chose to trust, and when that trust was broken, it left you questioning not only other people, but, at times, even your own judgment. I saw every moment of that confusion. I watched your heart struggle to understand what had happened. One part of you held on, hoping things could somehow be restored, while another part slowly accepted the painful truth that not everyone was meant to remain beside you for the entire journey. Letting go of relationships that once meant so much was never easy. A heart that truly loves does not release people without feeling the weight of that loss, and I watched you carry that burden more than once. Even when you appeared calm to everyone around you, I knew how deeply those experiences had affected you. Yet not every wound in your life came through betrayal. Some of your deepest pain came through waiting. There were dreams you placed before me with sincere faith, believing the door would eventually open. You prayed with hope, trusting that in time you would see the answer. But as the days turned into months and the months into longer seasons, the outcome you expected did not arrive when you thought it would. In those quiet moments, you began wondering if your prayers had truly reached me. You questioned whether I had heard your voice or whether your cries had somehow disappeared among countless others. My beloved child, I want you to know this beyond all doubt. Not one prayer you have ever spoken has been ignored. Every request, every whispered hope, every honest question that rose from your heart was fully heard by me. There were times when my answer looked different from what you imagined, and there were seasons when my timing required a patience that tested your faith. But none of your prayers were wasted. Every one of them reached me, and every one became part of the greater story I continued to unfold in your life. There were also days when the silence surrounding your unanswered questions caused your faith to waver. You wondered why some hardships lasted so much longer than you believed they should. You questioned whether you had enough strength to keep trusting when the answer seemed so far away. Those moments of uncertainty never made you a disappointment in my eyes. They simply revealed the honesty of your human heart, a heart that longs to understand while still reaching for hope. I never turned away from you because you had questions. Instead, I remained close, quietly strengthening you in ways you often could not see. My precious child, never forget this truth. I was with you through every moment you survived. When grief settled heavily upon your heart, I was there, gently surrounding you with comfort even when you did not immediately recognize it. When your strength felt almost completely exhausted, I became the unseen source of endurance that carried you forward, one step at a time. Gave you the strength to keep taking the next step. There were moments in your life when circumstances could have ended far differently, yet my protection surrounded you in ways you did not recognize at the time. My hand never stopped directing your path, even when the road ahead seemed uncertain and unclear. You may have believed you were facing those difficult seasons by yourself, but that was never the reality. I was with you in the quietness of your room when your thoughts became too heavy to carry alone. I was there during the silent conversations of your heart, listening to the questions you never spoke aloud to anyone else. I remained beside you each morning when you found the courage to rise again, even though your spirit felt worn and exhausted, even when your faith seemed fragile and your confidence faded. My presence never moved away from you. Every tear that fell mattered to me. Every prayer that rose from your heart was treasured by me. While the world often judges pain only by what it can see, I have always seen the wounds hidden beneath the surface. I know every burden you carried without telling anyone, every worry you kept locked inside, and every sacrifice you made without expecting appreciation or recognition. None of those moments were forgotten. They became part of the journey that shaped the strength, compassion, and wisdom growing within you today. My beloved child, none of your suffering was without purpose. Although it brought deep pain while you were living through it, it also formed within you a heart that can truly understand the struggles of others. It taught you how to show mercy to those carrying invisible wounds because you know firsthand what it feels like to keep walking while silently hurting inside. Your experiences have given you a depth of compassion that comfort alone could never have produced. Even your hardest seasons have played a part in shaping the person you are becoming. But hear me carefully now, because I do not want you to remain imprisoned by memories of those painful days. I am reminding you of these things not to reopen old wounds, but to show you that you were never abandoned in them. You were always seen. You were always heard. You were always held by a love that refused to let you go. The tears you cried were never signs of weakness. They revealed a heart capable of loving deeply, believing sincerely, and continuing to hope even when disappointment tried to convince you to give up. My precious child, I want these words to settle firmly within your spirit. Your pain does not determine your future. The betrayals you suffered do not define your value. The prayers that seemed unanswered were never evidence that your faith was misplaced. Every chapter of your journey has been witnessed, understood, and lovingly held within my care. You have never been forgotten. You have never been overlooked. You have never walked this story alone. I have been with you through every tear, every question that filled your mind, and every quiet battle you fought in silence. And even now, as these words reach your heart, my presence remains with you, leading you faithfully into the next season I have prepared. If your desire is for my spirit to fill your life with renewed passion and strength, declare it in faith by commenting, Father, fill me with your fire. And if these words have encouraged your heart today, share this message so someone else who needs hope can be reminded that they are never alone.